The Wolverines rebound with a win over Houston. We'll see the highlights. We'll also look ahead to the Big Ten schedule with emphasis on the newcomer, and we'll scout Iowa, the opener in Michigan's quest for a 6th straight conference title. All that and more coming up next. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Michigan Replay. The Wolverines defeat Houston on Saturday, 42-21. Awful nice to get a victory under your belt after having that awful taste in your mouth for 2 weeks following Notre Dame.
Jim, that's very true. It isn't the kind of victory that we wanted in some respects, but the main goal and the main focus was go out and win for Michigan, and that's our only concern.
You know you got things going your way, though, when you win 42-21 and you're disappointed. I mean, that shows that you're really pushing to be better.
Well, I think so, but I also worry about some of the things because of our young players. We're making some mistakes, and yet we don't have a senior that's come up and really dominated things, and that's what we have to have, the combination of both. The young kids got to get better, and some of our veteran players got to make some great plays.
Somebody's got to step up. Well, a bunch of players stepped up against Houston. Don't go away. We'll be back to take a look at the highlights when Michigan Replay continues.
Game. You know, Coach Muller and them expressed that we had to come back. You know, this is like almost a new season, you know, for us, and we have to come back. Don't hang our heads because of the game we played against Notre Dame, but come back and play hard this week and play tough for the rest of the season.
Wolverines certainly did play tough against Houston, and I know you had to feel good, particularly about an offensive performance that put up more than 500 yards of offense.
Right. You always get disappointed, though, Jim. And we took the first 4 possessions down and scored. We're going in on the 5th and fumbled the football, and then we had a chance on the 6th.
And early, your defense was playing well. Here's a play that should have been ruled a safety, but wasn't. So, you know, defensively early, you played well.
The officials try to give the benefit of the doubt to the offensive team in that
benefit of the doubt. Man,
right.
that was a real benefit of the doubt there.
Here, Wheatley early, I think on the 3rd play that we had the ball, he goes around the left end and has to beat their safety. Jim, you're going to watch in this game while we went deep several times and we only connected a couple times, which we should have hit them because, again, they were playing very aggressive.
Now, here's where the disappointment for you starts. On their second possession, they start to move the ball. They don't score, but they're moving it almost at will.
Right. Well, what they're doing is they're hitting some short passes. They catch us trying to cover people man-to-man a few times, and they break people out. That's why everybody gets so frustrated. I know when I used to play coach defense, everybody call me, and why can't you stop the short pass? Well, I can't stop the short one because I'm worried about the long one, I guess.
You get out of that, though, and they botch a field goal attempt there, so you still keep them off the scoreboard, and the offense continues to roll.
Right. We come back here, and here's Collins hitting Mercury Hayes, who Merck had one of those games, Jim, that was so impressive in some ways. Then he mishandled a couple kicks. But he's a very hard-working kid, and I think we're going to see his future, I mean, a great future ahead of him.
Wheatley running inside the tackles and outside, still doing well.
Right, no question about that. And here's Todd Collins setting his feet well, again hitting Mercury Hayes over the middle, and Bow gets out on this one.
Nice job of the offensive line, I thought, against Houston in the early go.
Yeah, I think they played pretty well. I like to break a few more runs in there, but there's Wheatley going over from the 5 for his second touchdown.
That puts you up 14-0. Again, you got to feel good. Here's your 3rd possession.
We stopped him in good shape, and here's freshman John Ritchie, fullback, does a good job running in there.
Then you move into the 2nd quarter, and Ricky Powers gets the call at tailback.
Right. 2nd quarter, we played Ricky in there, and I thought he did some good things in there. There's a good blocking, as you indicated earlier, by the offensive line.
After a penalty, you're 3rd and 13. You go right back to the same play, other side, hit Amani Toomer in the end zone for a touchdown. 21-zip.
Right. We had scored on the post on the right, and then we come back because we have illegal alignment by our tight end. And as you indicate, we hit Amani Toomer. Then they come right back. They're feisty and they're battling. Jimmy, you got to get a pass rush there, and there's part of the missed tackling. And tackling is one thing. If you are going to miss, you have to turn the ball carrier the proper way.
What do you mean turn the ball carrier the proper way? Turn him inside to the rest of your teammates?
Turning back into your pursuit. There's another example. A guy coming in hard, you know, really trying hard, and misses the tackle, and the ball bounces to the outside.
You get them stopped, though, because they make a mistake, fumble the ball into the end zone.
We recover it. This is another big break because they had a chance to score, and you see they missed a field goal. Now they come out and miss an opportunity there.
Could be 21-13, but it's
no question.
But it's not. Then you come back and again go back to work offensively.
Right.
Very good game for you offensively.
Hit Wheatley on the screen. We did a good job there. Then Collins again's going to go deep to Toomer down the middle. Thought this was a very good throw. And Amani, you notice, played with a cast on his hand or on his thumb. Small rubberized cast because he tore a ligament Wednesday in practice. He landed on his thumb. Here's Wheatley off the left side again. Helps when you have speed. Good cutback run there. He gets 12 yards.
And here's just great blocking, I think.
Yeah, good counter play here. We open up a good seam, and Ricky Powers goes in.
28-0 at that point. You got to feel good, even though Houston's moving the ball, and then they continue to move it. And again, this is where the disappointment comes in.
Right, and again, you're going to see some passes they stuck in between a couple defenders, and on occasion you should come up with an interception there. And again, there's too much time in the pocket, and he gets way too comfortable in there.
And the thing that you complained about after the game, missed tackles, and that was what really hurt you here.
Here's another example. Here's a guy missing there, and another guy overrunning it that should have been at the side and converged. You have to converge on the ball properly. And you know, it's a sad thing because I talked a little bit about this last week, and it's something you go out and work very hard on, but we don't always see the results.
Is that what you mean when you miss? You got to miss the guy, push him the right way?
Right. You always teach, you know, you can't feel aggressive and you can't tackle aggressively if you don't have the comfort of which way should I turn him if I do miss. I don't want to miss a tackle, but if I do, and it should happen, you know, you got to take Barry Sanders. Everybody doesn't tackle him properly. Tyrone Wheatley's the same thing. You can't let him to the outside of the defense. Turn him back.
Take a look at the second half when Michigan replay continues.
Different from last year, like when I came out and looked at the crowd and it was, you know, really affecting me. But now it's just like going out there and practicing, you know, just going out there having a good time.
Having a good time with a cast on your thumb. That's Amani Toomer with a big lead, 28-7 at halftime. You had to feel good, but you had that tinge with the fact that defensively you didn't feel you were getting it done the way you wanted to, right?
Yeah, that's very true, and just a lot of little things again, and those are the things you have to iron out, and they just keep coming up over and over and over.
Opening up the second half, this is your second possession. You go right back to work offensively and do a nice job here with a nice pass over to Mercury Hayes to get an offensive drive started.
Right, as you said, the second possession, our first one, I thought we should have went down. That was the first time we punted a whole game. And then here's Wheatley again on the sweep to the right. And then we come back with Wheatley for a 9-yard touchdown over the right side here. Good, strong run. He has to push a would-be blocker, I guess you could say, out of the way, one of our own players. But Miller got around there in pretty good shape.
35-7 at that point. Game pretty much under control. But, again, here's the double-edged sword. Offense playing well. The defense hurts you a little bit. Great play by Ty Law, and then it turns into something you've never seen before.
Right. Finally, we get a turnover, and Ty goes to return the ball, doesn't see a guy come up. They had the ball on their 26-yard line. They gain 40-some yards and take it over on our 37 after we intercepted the ball.
And that seemed to stimulate them, get their momentum going. And this kid, Clements, did a great job. And here they catching a blitz.
Right. We missed a pickup on a blitz there, and he's out in the flat all by himself, and then they get the big gain. Well, here our defense does a great job, takes it to fourth and a foot, and then we allow 2 receivers to get wide open there, which was ridiculous.
Is some of that inexperience, Mo?
Yes, it's inexperience, but Jim, you can talk about that a lot. If you're going to play and you want to play, you gotta play properly.
Fourth quarter, 35-14 the score, and they keep coming after you.
Right.
And these are disappointing things.
Yeah, here's a young safety making a poor play. Should have been an interception. I think that ball was close to out of bounds, if not, but needless to say, you should be over there. And here's the same type of thing we just saw before, a freshman making a mistake, not picking up a guy on a blitz.
Then they're down near the goal line, and they come back, and again, on the corner, they get a little pass to the flat. Smith gets in. Now it's 35-21, and there's some folks a little nervous.
Right, and one of those is the head coach.
You were a little nervous at this point.
Exactly right. Well, we wanted to go to work on the ground here. Wheatley has a strong run, and now my thinking is, Jim, I want to score. I want to get down there. I don't want to turn the ball over, and at the same time, I want to try to keep the defense off the field. Here, Mercury Hayes makes a nice move after catching a short pass out there from Collins.
And that's the big play in this drive. Now you got your young running back in, Tim Viakabatuka.
Right, a freshman that we wanted to get some experience in there. We put him in there. I think he's got maybe a good future at Michigan, obviously, and we wanted to see what he could do.
Our Norwegian Cruise Line play of the week is the big 41-yard pass to Amani Toomer.
Right, I think Collins here throws a nice ball, and Amani goes and runs under it. We have to have those things, particularly in this game. And Jim, at the game, as you could tell, we tried those on several occasions and missed about 2 or 3 of them by maybe 6 inches, and a couple should have been caught. You had to play this team that way.
Yeah, I was going to say the Norwegian Cruise Line play of the week was a long pass.
Come out and get after it, you know, because we had the upset 2 weeks ago, and it just got everybody more fired up, and, you know, we're just going to have to keep this intensity for the rest of the season.
The reason? Penn State. The Nittany Lions of Joe Paterno joined the ranks this season, and that makes a lot of people in Big Ten country nervous. But that feeling is also prevalent for the big guys out east.
I'm excited, but I'm also nervous. I'm not sure we can handle a conference mentality, a tough game week in and week out. It's going to be very challenging.
The big challenge for Paterno is the weekly grind of the Big Ten. The week in, week out big game is something they've not had to deal with in the past. But that's what is directly in front of them now.
We've got to be willing to play a tough football game every week. We're talking about consistency. We're talking about, you know, if you kick the ball well and you play good defense, you can stay in a game even when you may be a little flat emotionally. So that, you know, you try to prepare your kids for what's going to happen and hope. But I'm not sure we're ready to do that yet.
Like every other coach, Paterno. For instance, you don't play Northwestern Indiana. Penn State has Purdue and Wisconsin off their schedule. Wisconsin gets a break. They don't have to play Penn State or Iowa, and Iowa gets a break. They don't have to play Ohio State and Wisconsin.
Right. I don't know how you're going to come up with the true champion some years when you have people not playing 2 opponents. I think that's going to be a little bit odd, but it's one of the things that we have to live with, and one of the things you don't always like. If you're going to be the champion of a conference, let's everybody play one another, and let's see who the winner is.
I agree, and the other thing that's a little bit odd, and I don't think this is odd by accident, who gets open dates prior to games? Iowa has an open date prior to the game with you. Michigan State has an open date prior to the game with Michigan. Penn State has an open date before Michigan and Ohio State now.
And back-to-back.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's going on?
They have a week off before they play us.
Who's getting the break here?
Well, I don't.
Because, you know, Houston's basically running shoot team, but they can't really run the ball against us, you know. We give a lot of big plays, and we can't do that.
Iowa's coming in. That means Iowa year in and year out is a big game for Michigan, no matter what the records.
Right, they always do a good job.
Awful taste in your mouth for 2 weeks following Notre Dame.
Jim, that's very true. It isn't the kind of victory that we wanted in some respects, but the main goal and the main focus was go out and win for Michigan, and that's our only concern.
You know you got things going your way, though, when you win 42-21 and you're disappointed. I mean, that shows that you're really pushing to be better.
Well, I think so.
Stepped up against Houston. Don't go away. We'll be back to take a look at the highlights when Michigan Replay continues.
Game. You know, Coach Muller and them expressed that we had to come back. You know, this is like almost a new season, you know, for us, and we have to come back. Don't hang our heads because of the game we played against Notre Dame.
But I also worry about some of the things because of our young players. We're making some mistakes, and yet we don't have a senior that's come up and really dominated things, and that's what we have to have, the combination of both. The young kids got to get better, and some of our veteran players got to make some great plays.
Somebody's got to step up. Well, a bunch of players. The Wolverines rebound with a win over Houston. We'll see the highlights. We'll also look ahead to the Big Ten schedule with emphasis on the newcomer, and we'll scout Iowa, the opener in Michigan's quest for a 6th straight conference title. All that and more coming up next. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Michigan Replay. The Wolverines defeat Houston on Saturday, 42-21. Awful nice to get a victory under your belt after having that.
Come back and play hard this week and play tough for the rest of the season.
Wolverines certainly did play tough against Houston, and I know you had to feel good, particularly about an offensive performance that put up more than 500 yards of offense.
Right. You always get disappointed, though, Jim. And we took the first 4 possessions down and scored. We're going in on the 5th.